why does PhillyNORML exist? Because there is a national organization for the reform of marijuana laws. It was started in 1970 by a man who's with us tonight. Keith Stroup started NORML, an organization he started with his friends, some lawyers from Georgetown. It's now 140 chapters in every single state. There is a NORML in the U.S. Virgin Islands. There is a NORML in New Zealand. NORML is working every single day, and we were inspired by this gentleman right here. Keith Stroup, come on right up here, the founder of NORML. Keith, thanks so much. Come on here, PhillyNORML. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And thanks, Chris. You're very kind. I smoke pot, and I like it a lot. I'm a 66-year-old lawyer. I first smoked marijuana 45 years ago when I was a freshman at Georgetown Law School, and I've been a regular smoker ever since. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the responsible use of marijuana by adults, and it is time we stopped arresting and started respecting marijuana smokers. As I think most of you folks know, NORML is in fact a marijuana smokers lobby. We were founded, as Chris mentioned, in 1970, so 40 years sometime this fall. We have been representing the interests of marijuana smokers in the public policy debate. We support the elimination of all penalties for the personal use of marijuana. We also support the eventual, and it's beginning to be discussed, we have bills in 5 states this year, for the legalization of marijuana. That is a legally regulated market where consumers can buy their marijuana in a safe and secure environment. We also think it's terribly important that consumers have the right to grow their own marijuana, because as we get legalization, if the commercial sources of marijuana want to charge too much, want to tax it too high, or want to try to sell us inferior quality marijuana, the hell with them, we'll grow our own. It is time for marijuana smokers in America to get up, stand up, light up, and let the world know how you feel. We must come out of the closet to overcome the negative stereotypes. Now, by the way, on a personal level, let me say this too. For me, marijuana smoking is more than just getting high. Look, I understand that food tastes better, music sounds better, sex is certainly better, and those aren't bad things. But for many of us, it's more than that. It allows me to stand back and take a little of a detached look at my work and my personal life, and to be a little bit better in touch with the world's humanity. I think there are a lot of people in this country for whom marijuana is more than just an opportunity to get high. It is a positive, enriching experience in our lives. We need to develop the courage to say that publicly. Now, again, we've got to come out of the closet, because if we don't have the political leverage with elected officials that we should have. Keep in mind, there are more living Americans today who have smoked marijuana than who have not. Can you imagine the tipping point we're about? The reason we're having all this success in New Jersey last week, thank you, New Jersey NORML and all of the good people. And the reason that there's a bill pending in the House by Mark Cohen here in Pennsylvania, medical use, and there's going to be one, I understand, in a month in the Senate, is because the majority of the American people understand there's nothing really wrong with marijuana. They know there are 50,000 people a year die from alcohol overdose. There are 450,000 people die from smoking, yet those are both legal. No one has ever died from an overdose of marijuana in this country, and we had a medical expert testify a few years ago that in order to have a fatal overdose, you'd have to ingest 1,600 pounds at one setting. Now, I know some of you have tried that, but it can't be done. So clearly, we've got a safe drug, we've got an effective medicine. Why in the hell is the government so opposed to it? There is nothing wrong with smoking. So, how do we end this up? How do we wrap it up? Well, as a previous speaker mentioned, Chris, I think, there are now 14 states that have legalized marijuana for medical use, and Pennsylvania and a whole lot of others are looking at it closely now. Illinois, Wisconsin, it's all over the country. Other states are considering it. There are now 14 states where they also don't arrest marijuana smokers. The last state there was Massachusetts, did it last November by voter initiative. 65% of the voters in Massachusetts says, no, we don't want to treat marijuana smokers like criminals. But what's most exciting to me is the fact that 4 states so far, have had legalization bills, tax, regulate, sort of like an alcohol model where we can go buy our marijuana if we want to. 4 different states, California, Washington, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts, have had hearings on those bills this year. Oregon will be the 5th shortly. That is switching the public debate. It's wonderful that patients are getting their access to medical marijuana. And it's wonderful that we're beginning to stop arresting smokers. But the really important thing is let's get on to legalization. And it doesn't really matter once you have legalization why you're using it, whether you're a patient, whether you just enjoy it, whether it's a religious sacrament. It's none of the government's damn business. So, where I think that leaves us is this. We're within 5 years of the point where I think we honestly will stop arresting smokers all across this country for smoking marijuana, regardless of why you're using it. And I think we'll have the first couple of states, probably California and Massachusetts, but it's hard to tell. They may pop up in one of these others, where they will actually begin to experiment with different legalization systems. And from that point on, folks, we are truly at the tipping point. So it's time to light up, it's time to get high, it's time to get involved with NORML in Philly and in other states around the country, and together we are going to legalize marijuana. Stay high.
All right, Keith Stroup. Thank you, Keith. Get involved here today with us at PhillyNORML. I gotta say a huge thank you to this group of guys right here, and that guy right there at the keyboards, John. If it wasn't for the bands here, and Agent Lisa, and their support, and the venue here, the Rotunda, I really want to thank Jeannie and everyone here at the Rotunda for such a welcome, beautiful space for us to gather here together with the PhillyNORML crowd. Thank you to these guys, thank you to all the acts, Flux Capacitor, Big Dirty, now Agent Lisa is coming up next, Psychedelia after that, we got some more speakers. Everyone, thank you so much. Enjoy Agent Lisa coming up next.